Maybe niggas are scared to hustle because niggas are snitching so much. Maybe that's what's going on. I would be scared to hustle too when I know that every other nigga is snitching just so he don't want to do no time because he can't bear to be inside the jail system.
Jim Jones, who is Jim Jones? Like, he's not on anyone's top 10 list. He's not like no one's top 10 list, maybe not even his family.
An old clip of Jay-Z just leaked, and he's straight up calling Jim Jones a snitch. But here's the twist. Jay's #1 over at Roc Nation? She's a confirmed federal informant. So why is Jay-Z throwing shade now? And why is he pointing fingers at Jim of all people?
Jim Jones is listed as a federal informant in court documents in the case against Tekashi. In the original court transcripts that were previously released online, the conversation between individual 1, Jim Jones, is listed as cooperating with federal agents in a conversation with Jamal Murder Jones, which would explain why Jim Jones has been able to have such a lengthy criminal record and avoid prison time in the past.
See, Jim Jones has already been stirring the pot with those wild comments he made about Nas. And ever since then, all his messy past has come crawling back, including old receipts that suggest he might have cooperated with the feds. But here's what has everyone scratching their heads. If Jay-Z's so against snitching, why is his own right-hand woman linked to the feds? Even crazier, why would Jay still give Jim Jones a Roc Nation deal if he really believed he was working with the law?
As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaire's lunch. Yeah. You understand?
Right.
And we here together.
I think we passed kneeling.
Let me play it again. But this time, look at the reaction of the lady sat just behind him. The reason why she's worried about how Jay would respond is because she's the CEO of Roc Nation. But in her former life, she was a federal informant.
Let's rewind and break down the audio that got everybody talking. In this resurfaced clip, Jay-Z was speaking on his old beef with Jim, and he didn't hold back. He said Jim wasn't even a real rapper in his eyes, that Jim plays a different role in the industry. Basically, Jay was saying Jim's position in hip-hop ain't about music, it's about something else. So, does this mean Jay knew something the public didn't? Was he already aware of Jim's alleged informant past? And if that's the case, why bring Jim into the Roc Nation circle at all? Let's dig into the rumors about Jim being a federal snitch, cause they've been floating around for years. But trust 50 Cent to keep it alive and loud? He jumped right in, using Instagram to stir the pot even more, posting a pic of Jim standing with Jay-Z, Diddy, Fat Joe, and some other power players. His caption? LOL individual 1, calling the shots out here. I know you're working, so please don't say gangster stuff to me. Individual 1. Whew! So what's that all about? It all traces back to the Tekashi 69 racketeering case. While Tekashi was on the stand snitching on the 9 Trey Bloods, a leaked wiretap surfaced. And guess who was on it? Jim Jones. In that call, Jim was heard saying Tekashi ain't gang no more and needs to be violated. And you know 50 wasted no time. He posted the entire transcript.
Don't, man. Hip-hop, of course, you know, is a competitive sport. But on the other end of it, it's like certain people shouldn't be able to say your names until they done something in the genre of music. I've done too much in this music to even have to answer that question. Like, Jim Jones, who is Jim Jones? Like, he's not on anyone's top 10 list. He's like no one's top 10 list, maybe not even his family. I was saying last night, it's like the 8th guy on the bench just screaming at Jordan, like, you a bum. Like, you like the 9th guy on the bench. I'm not even worried about you.
Back in 2018, Tekashi got hit with major federal charges, racketeering, gun charges, the whole package. The feds had been watching 9 Trey for a while, and once Tekashi got locked up, he folded quick and started cutting deals. So back in September 2019, during Tekashi's courtroom snitchathon, he hit the stand and spilled everything on his old 9 Trey crew. He name-dropped folks like Anthony Harv Ellison, Al-Jeremiah, Nuke Mac, and a few more heavy hitters, basically breaking down the whole gang's operation play by play. He didn't hold nothing back. Now here's where Jim Jones gets dragged in.
Tekashi 6ix9ine pleaded guilty to federal charges, admitting he participated in a violent gang. He also pledged to cooperate with prosecutors. The rapper, whose legal name is Daniel Hernandez, said he joined the 9 Trey Blood Gang in the fall of 2017. He says he helped them try to kill a rival gang member last March. Prosecutors say the gang carried out acts of murder, robbery, and narcotics trafficking in Manhattan, the Bronx, and Brooklyn. The indictment also said each gang member was required to participate in at least 2 acts of racketeering conspiracy, which could include murder, robbery, extortion, or drug distribution. The plea deal could allow Hernandez leniency at sentencing. He was facing a mandatory 47-year prison sentence.
His name showed up in a wiretap that was played out loud in court. In that audio, Jim was allegedly on the phone with Mel Murda Jones, one of the top dogs in 9 Trey. And what they were talking about? It sounded like they were plotting how to deal with Tekashi after he left the gang and started running his mouth. Jim was allegedly throwing around suggestions that sounded like straight-up retaliation talk. And that wiretap had people shook, not just because Jim's voice was heard, but because of what didn't happen afterward. People started asking the big question: how was Jim talking gang business on a Fed wiretap and still walked away clean? No charges, no court date, no nothing. Meanwhile, other 9 Trey members were getting hit with football numbers. That's when all the Jim is working with the feds whispers started getting loud. Folks couldn't understand how he dodged all that heat unless he was cutting some kind of deal behind the scenes. And nobody kept that rumor alive more than Whack 100. Whack flat out called Jim a federal informant. Said the only reason Jim didn't get cuffed is because he was playing ball with the feds. And Whack didn't let up either. He went in on Clubhouse interviews, even during convos with Tekashi himself. He dared Jim to come out and clear his name with proof he wasn't cooperating. But wait, it didn't stop there. Another former Dipset member, Jaja, stepped up and tossed more fuel on the fire. She claimed she had receipts that Jim actually set up his own friend, Mel Murda. Yeah, that's the kind of betrayal people don't forget. So now that you see how the whole Jim Jones is a snitch narrative started spinning, let's circle back to Jay-Z. Because if Jay really set Jim up for a public takedown, you gotta understand just how deep their beef goes. Jay and Jim been clashing for decades.
He definitely humiliating Shotty right now, bro.
Well, you got your picture up there next to the post. You know, like when you go to YouTube and World Star, they got his picture next to this. Everything he say, they got a split screen with Shotty picture next to this. I said, this is crazy, son. But he's doing that to make K9 think he don't got no relationship with Boy. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to separate himself.
That's cool, but now he gotta get violated.
Yeah, super violated. Super duper. So ain't too much he can really do unless he gonna run around with 100 armed securities all day. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get shot at pay.
He ain't getting enough money for that.
That's a fact. And he just canceled all his shows.
And he ain't a gang member no more.
Nah, he ain't nothing.
That's what Shotty needs to make sure he do.
Nah,
tell that he's not a gang member no more. He kicked out the whip. He was never a gang member. Shotty need to expose him.
Their drama goes way back to the early 2000s, when Dame Dash brought Cameron and Jim into Rockefeller. Things got rocky when Jim claimed Cam was promised a VP spot at the label. But Jay-Z never confirmed it. All he told the media was, "That's not taking effect as of yet. I think the talk is a little premature right now." Brr! All this drama was popping off right around the time Jay-Z was also beefing heavy with Nas. So what did Jay do? He jumped on a remix of Cameron and Juelz Santana's hit Oh Boy, but not to uplift the track. He used it to fire shots at Nas. Problem is, Cam and Jim weren't with it at all. They straight up refused to release the remix. Cam even went as far as cutting Jay's whole verse, saying later that he wasn't going to let Jay hijack their record just to fight his personal battles. That move, it set the tone for years of smoke between these crews. Cam and Jim started feeling like Jay didn't respect them, like he was trying to use them when it suited him. then tossed them aside. That's when the sneak disses really started flying. Jim Jones began dragging Jay in interviews, on the radio, calling him out as too corporate, out of touch with the streets, and just plain soft. Jim made it clear he stood on realness and integrity. He even went after rappers who turned informant, taking direct shots at anyone who switched sides when the heat came.
Remember when Jay-Z said this?
I think we've passed kneeling.
Let me play it again. But this time, look at the reaction of the lady sat just behind him. The reason why she's worried about how Jay would respond is because she's the CEO of Rock Nation. But in her former life, she was a federal informant. In 1994, Desiree Perez was arrested for bringing in 35 keys of Griselda Blanco into Miami. Under pressure, she agreed to wear a wire for the DEA. Quick side note, Desiree Perez is the name Dame Dash refused to say in this Breakfast Club interview.
Once a has certain friends, we don't even talk about them no more where I'm from.
Now, around that same time, Jay-Z and Perez spearheaded Rock Nation's prison reform initiative with Meek Mill. I guess their hard work paid off, because on the 19th of January 2021, this list was released. Desiree Perez's criminal past had just been wiped clean by the outgoing president, Donald Trump.
Jay at first kept it low-key. He didn't clap back right away, but folks inside Rockefeller could feel the tension building. Then boom! In 2006, Jim dropped We Fly High, and it blew up. That's when Jay finally bit back, dropping his own track Brooklyn High as a response. But Jim wasn't done. He fired back with We Fly High, Beef Mix, going straight for Jay's neck. He called Jay old and out of pocket, dropping bars like, "I told Warren, your old self better chill. Better slow down before your old self gets killed." Whew! Fast forward to 2008, and the beef jumped off the mic and into real life. Security footage came out showing Jim putting hands on someone inside a Louis Vuitton store. Who was the target? None other than Jay-Z's longtime A&R, Lenny Santiago. Jim got arrested and later pleaded guilty to misdemeanor assault. Jay still kept it cool. He didn't directly speak on the fight, but a few months later, he took slick shots in an extra large interview, trashing tracks like "Na Na 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 Na." He said, "I mean, like Jim Jones, for example. And not just because we never saw eye to eye, but he made na 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 na." What's the difference between that Smiley Face by Trey Songz and Soulja Boy? Jay clowned that track hard. The tension cooled off for a bit, but not for long. In 2015, Dipset came back with a freestyle over Diddy's Victory beat, and they weren't holding back. Cam and Jim took more shots at Jay and Rock Nation, clowning the Rock Nation brunch and saying Jay was soft, too corporate, and no longer from the streets. But then, things took a wild turn. Out of nowhere, Jim Jones flipped the whole script. After over a decade of disses and tension, he suddenly started begging Jay-Z to sign him. Fast forward to February 2017. Boom! Jim officially inked a deal with Rock Nation and joined Jay's camp. After 13 years of beef, just like that. And Jim didn't move in silence either. Nah, he was loud with it, bragging about finally getting invited to the Rock Nation brunch, the same event he used to mock. Now he's showing up, all smiles, throwing love Jay's way in interviews, doing everything he could to prove he was loyal now. But Jay, he barely said a word. Cold. He kept it strictly business. No big welcome, no friendly posts, no brotherhood. It was clear, Jay wasn't trying to be buddies. He just made the deal and kept it moving. And that's when people started connecting dots. What if this wasn't about forgiveness at all? What if Jay giving Jim a deal was a chess move, not a truce? Jay's known for doing this, flipping his rivals into business partners. Think about it. The L.O.X., Fat Joe, J. Cole, Meek Mill, they all had tension with Jay before signing on to Rock Nation. So when Jim joined The Rock, Jay kept his distance. Why? Maybe because of that whole Tekashi situation, those wiretaps, the snitching rumors. But here's the twist. Jay's whole "I don't mess with snitches" image? It might be just that image. Because guess what? His right-hand woman, Desiree Perez, she's a documented informant. That's right, she cooperated with the feds, and she's still sitting at the very top of Roc Nation. So if Jay's comfortable doing business with her, then why the cold shoulder toward Jim? That's when folks really started whispering, was Jay-Z playing both sides? Maybe this was never about loyalty. Maybe it's about control and power. Jay didn't need Jim, but Jim definitely needed Jay. And when Jim's name hit those wiretaps, Jay did what he always does, protect the brand. So maybe Jay wasn't mad Jim might have snitched. Maybe he was mad Jim wasn't his snitch. Now that flips the whole narrative and raises a whole lot of questions about what kind of company Roc Nation really is. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Is Jay the puppet master or just protecting the empire? Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And we'll catch you on the next one.